everyone here must have downloaded and installed Power BI Desktop. But if you have not, I'll just show us briefly. I'll show you briefly where you can download it. We're not going to download it in this session, so I'll just show you briefly where you can do that. And I'll also drop the link in the chat. Okay, if you can see my screen right now, I'm on a page, a Power BI Microsoft page, Microsoft.com. And if you want to download the Power BI Desktop, all you need to do, you leave the language English, and you click on download. If you click on this tab, it will bring up two options for you. I would recommend this one most of the time. Most laptops are compliant with this. And you download and you have that on your system. As soon as you download it, it drops in your download folder or wherever you choose, location you choose. You click on it, you install, just follow the prompts and install. It's very easy. You can work on it without signing in. But if you have a company like an official account, email account, or a student email account, you can use that to log in. It will not accept your personal email account, like Gmail or any other account. It will not accept that. It has to be either a student email account or your work email account. So that's how to download it, okay? I will stop sharing that, and then we'll go straight to our data sets. We will be working with Excel. That will be our source, our data source. We'll be importing the data from an Excel sheet, workbook. And like I said earlier, I will show us how I got the data set that I'm going to use for this session. 1 second, please. Okay. I got the data set from Kaggle. So I'll share my screen again and show us quickly how to get data set from Kaggle. A while ago, I shared lots of websites. I can do that again after this session. I shared a lot of websites where you can get free data sets whenever you need them. There are so many websites. There's Kaggle, and there are so many others where you can get free data sets. So the one we're going to use for this session is from Kaggle. So I'll just show that to us briefly, and then we'll go straight into the session. To get your data set from Kaggle, can you see my system? Yeah. Okay. You go to, 1 second. I'll be moving my eyes everywhere because I'm using two screens, okay? So you go to kaggle.com. I think most of us are already familiar. I believe most of us are familiar with Kaggle, but if you're not, it's a very good site where you can participate in several competitions, and you can also get free data sets from there. So I'll just type in Kaggle, kaggle.com. Here, you can search for data sets. When I searched for e-commerce data set, and I got Amazon sales e-commerce data set. I downloaded it and saved it on my system. That's what we're going to use today. So this is how you can get free, you can get your free data sets.
I'm sorry, we are not seeing the screen. What we can see is the Excel, the data itself.
Oh, you can't see the screen. Okay. Apologies for that. Share my screen. Can you see that now?
Yes, yes,
okay,
yes.
Great.
It's showing the browser now. Yes.
Okay. So this is Kaggle, the Kaggle link. I'm going to drop this in the chat. For those who are not yet familiar with Kaggle, it's just kaggle.com. It's a free, it's a link where you can participate in competitions, and you can also get free data sets from there. So that's where I got the data that we'll be using for this training. So I'll drop that in the chat. That's the link for the data set. I would also drop the data set here for us in the chat. 1 second. So you can follow as I go ahead. File on my system. Please let me know. Yeah, that's the data set. Okay, the data set, I've dropped it in the chat. Please, you can download it from there. It's easier that way than going all the way to another website, to Kaggle. So that's the data set we'll be using for this session. I'll go straight into this session. Stop sharing this. So I've talked about 2 sites now. I've talked about how to download Power BI Desktop and also the data sets that we'll be using. And you can get so many other data sets from Kaggle. So I'll stop sharing that as well. Now to our main session for the day. If you already have Power BI installed on your system, please launch it so we can work together. All right. So I'll go ahead. I'm trying to take my time so everyone can follow. I'll just go ahead now in a bit. The first thing we want to do is here, I'll talk a bit about those features that we have here on the Power BI desktop. Now, we have Power BI desktop, we have Power BI online, we have Power BI mobile. Power BI desktop is a free tool. It's completely free. You can download and install it for free, and you can practice with it. And it is easy to use. It's user-friendly. I love Power BI as a BI tool and a visualization tool. It's very easy to use. And I love the visuals as well. It has nice charts, beautiful charts. You can play around. You can go beyond the charts that you have here to what we call the Power BI Marketplace, where you can download custom visuals. Some of those custom visuals are free. Some of them you have to pay or subscribe to get them, but most of them are free. So there's a lot you can do with the Power BI desktop. Great. So now on this Power BI page, we have where you get your data. We have the home page. We have the modeling page where we'll be doing a lot of transformation. We'll talk about that soon. I'll talk about the panes here. Sometimes you might launch your Power BI and you can't find, for instance, your format pane, or you can't find your data pane. They are all here to the right. So if I click on this, that will bring up where you'll see your data when we load the data. I click on this icon, it will bring up the format pane, the pane for us to format our visuals. And this is the filter pane when we want to filter our visuals to show like top 10, top 1, top 2, whatever feature you want to do on your visuals, you use this pane for it. So I'm going to minimize those panes for now. When we're ready to use them, I'll click and bring them up. So the first thing to do is to get our data set. I'll be getting the data set from my system. If you have saved the one I sent that I dropped, it's just get it onto your own Power BI desktop as well. We're using the e-commerce data set. It's going to connect. Sometimes your data might come as CSV, as a CSV file, and sometimes it will come as might be Excel. And there are other ways you can also bring in data. For today, for the purpose of our training today, we are going to be using Excel for our data set. 1 second, I think I should share. I'm going to change the data sets. I have 2 data sets there. I have the e-commerce and I have the Amazon sales. The one we're using for this training is the Amazon sales. It's also e-commerce, or is Amazon sales, and that's what I'm for the training. So I'll drop that in the chat as well. Okay. Please use the Amazon sales that I'm going to drop right now. One second while I drop that in the chat.
Pick up your fucking phone. Another room.
Okay, Amazon sales. Yeah, can't be sent. Okay, yes. I need to close it on.
Can you mute your thing so we can compare?
Please, I would like all mics to be. Please mute your mic. You are not bothering others. Okay. So I've dropped the Amazon sales. It's also from Cargo. Use the Amazon sales, please. That's the one we're using for this session. So I'm getting my data. I hope you're getting yours as well. Now, this is very good. If you can see my system, because I selected Excel and the Amazon sales data is a CSV file, not an Excel file. So we can't see it right now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to select all files. So I can see all files, text files, CSV, any of the files. We're using the Amazon sales. I'll bring that in. This is our data set that we're going to use. It has several columns. And like I said, we'll be doing a lot of transformation. This looks good, very good and very rich, but it's still quite dirty. So we're going to clean it up and we'll do some transformation. I'll load. You can go straight to transform data and it takes you to the Power Query, on Power BI, but I'll load it first and then we can start transformation. I'm loading because I want to explain some other features here. So it's going to load. We'll give it some time to load. 1 second, I need to look for someone whose mic is, I can mute, okay. Great. Great, so we've loaded our data set. When you load the data set, it comes here to the pane for data. We can see what we are seeing here are just columns, column 1 to 18. We can't see the headers of this column, so that's where we're going to start our data transformation from. And then a quick explanation of these icons here. This is your report view. When we start building visuals, this is the view you click on to see your visuals. If you want to see your data, this is your table view. You click on it and you see your data set here, okay? You can have a quick look at your data set. So you're not going back to the Excel sheet to look at your data set. Here you can have a look at it and see what your data set looks like. This is where you build your models. So if we have more than one tables, for instance, what we mean by tables, if it's Excel, each sheet can represent a table. So if you have more than one tables and you want to build a relationship between the tables, you want to connect the tables, this is where you build a relationship. You build a relationship using the keys on the tables. And then, of course, this is where we'll talk about the dimensions and also the measures as well, facts and dimensions. Dimensions is how you dimension your data, like you filter your data. It's that part of your data that gives context to your data. It gives further explanation to your data. So for instance, you have a data set, transaction data set. When you have your products could be your dimension, your branch, the list of your branches could be your dimension, your location, country, state, those could be dimensions. Well, because we do with your products, your branches, your location, data set like that, you can give context to what we call the facts. The facts are those data sets that you can add. You can subtract. They are measurable data sets like your sales, your revenue. Those are facts. We'll talk about that maybe in another session. But for now, this is where you build your data model and where you build relationships between your table. And this is for your DAX query. That will come in some other time. So back to report view. So these are data set. Of course, this doesn't make sense to anybody right now. It's like meaningless to us. We want to transform it and we want to clean it up. So we will go to what we call the transform data bit. Here is where we have our Power Query. So I'll click on transform data. Please, if I'm too fast at any time, just drop a message in the chat. I can see the chat from where I'm sitting. And or if you have any questions or any part you need me to clarify, drop a message in the chat and I'll see it. Okay. Can you see my screen? Can you still see my screen? We are now on the Power Query bit of Power BI desktop. And this is our data. Remember, in the data pane, we're only seeing column 1, column 2, column 3, and we did not see the column headers. So that's the first thing we're going to do here. We want column headers. We don't just want to see the column name, column 1, column 2. Before we go to that, I want to explain here this bit where you see the applied steps. Okay. Applied steps is the pane that shows you all the transformations that you've been doing. So I'll do one transformation now and you'll see it come here under the applied steps. If you want to go back to any of your previous steps, you just click on that step and it takes you back there. If you want to cancel any of your previous steps, you cancel it here. I'll show that to us in a bit. So we want to bring the name of the columns up. We'll come to transform, and we'll say use first row as header. Use first row as header. Okay. There are other cases where you have to use the header as first row. If what is showing as header is supposed to be a first row, you can do that. But in this case, we're using first row as header. So I click on that, and you see now our data set has headers. And you can see what we've done under the applied steps. It says promoted headers. If I'm not happy with this step that I just took, or if I did it in error and I want to cancel it, all I need to do is click on this and it will cancel whatever I've done before. It goes back to the way it was. So I go back here again and I say use first row as headers. So each time we do a transformation, it comes up here. All right. Now, we can see our data set and it has headers, okay? We've done one transformation. If we want to see
it, please, Ediri, we can't see
We can't see
you're
it.
doing, please.
Oh my goodness, okay. Sorry about that. Stop sharing. You know what? I'll share my entire screen so that. Okay, share. See what I'm doing now? So I'll go over it again. No, Aisha, we're not using the e-commerce data. We're using the Amazon sales data. That's what we're using right now. Amazon sales data is what we're using. Okay. HP, can you see my screen right now? Can you see the Power Query?
Yes, I can see it now.
Okay, so every other person can see it. Okay, thank you. So I'll go over that again. On this Power Query, we're going to be doing the transformation and the cleaning. We'll clean up the data and we'll transform the data. Before the first step, I'm going to cancel this step that I did. Okay. So if you look at, to me, is my right side, it's my right-hand side, to you to be the left, where you have the query settings. You see under applied steps, each time you do a transformation, it comes under applied steps. So if you do a transformation in error, you can always come here to cancel it. And then you can also see whatever steps you've done in the past. So I'm going to do one now and we'll see how that comes up under the applied steps. So when we loaded our data, remember, we could only see column 1, column 2, column 3. We could not see the column headers. What we're going to do now, because our data set has column headers, so what we're going to do now is use this feature that says use first row as headers. If I click on it, it will promote that first row up and it becomes the headers. So this is our column now. Each column now has a header. And when you come to the applied steps, you can see promoted headers. If I did that in error, all I'll need to do is cancel promoted headers, and it goes back to the way it was before. But we need it. It was done. That was the right step. So I'm going to say use first row as header. Okay. So now our columns have headers. If we want to see the impact of the transformation that we've just done, for a start, I'll just do only this, but for the other transformations, we'll finish everything before we go back. So I want us to go back and see how it looks in our data pane. So I would say close and apply. If you say close alone without saying close and apply, whatever transformation you've done will not be saved, will not save. So I'll say close and apply. Okay. Each time it just keeps, okay. So now we are back here and we can see our data pane. You can see now that our data pane has column headers. It's no longer column 1, column 2, column 3, the way it was before. We now have proper column headers that we can work with. But that's not all the transformation we need to do. We are going back to our Power Query to do some more transformation. I'll try to be a bit faster a bit. So we're back here. This is our Power Query. Good. The first thing we're going to do here is we've promoted the headers. Now we're going to look at each of the columns. Now, you have your column name and then you have your data type. If you're looking at this screen, you can see close to the column header, you can see a little icon there. That's showing you your data type. Your data type could be text, it could be number, it could be fixed decimal, it could be date. There are so many data types. So if you click on it, Aisha, you don't have the data sets. I'll send it again, just 1 second. I'm sharing the data set again. Okay, so check the charts, Aisha, the data set is there. Okay. So if you look at this column headers, here you have the data type. If you click on that, you see different data types. What do you want this data to be? What data type do you want here in this first column? Is it supposed to be text? If it's supposed to be text, that's fine. It's already text. Product name is supposed to be text. You have category. Now, let's come to discounted price. This is discounted price, and it's showing up here. It's showing that it's a text data. Why is it showing that it's a text data? Because we have the currency symbol in front of the number. And because it has the currency symbol in front of the number, it's seeing that as text, not as number. So what are we going to do? We can't just change to whole number here. It will come up with errors. Can you see that? It came up with errors. So we are going to, let me cancel that step. What we need to do here is to take out this currency symbol. How are we going to do that? If you click on one of the cells, 1 second, you click on one of the cells and then you go to the bottom of your page. Sorry, I need to close this chat. Okay. If you click on one of the cells and you go to the bottom of your page, you can see the data there, okay? I'm going to copy that currency symbol because we don't want it. I'll copy it. Then I'll come to transform, okay? And I'll say replace values. Hope you are still following. I'll say replace values. Remember, when you're replacing values, you have to select the particular column that you want to replace the values in. Don't just repeat, just like Excel, when you're working on Excel, if you don't select the column, you're going to be replacing values across board. So we only want to replace value here on this column. And so we come here and we say replace value. It comes up with a little tab here, a window. I put the column, the value, the symbol there that I want to replace, and I want to replace it with nothing because I don't want the symbol there. So that's nothing there. And I select OK. It's going to take out all the symbols in that column. I'll do the same for actual price because it's also the same problem there. And I'll say replace value. Okay. Replace. Okay. It's still showing that it's a text, but that's fine. We can easily change it now. We don't have the symbol anymore. So we'll go there. For price, because it's price, we can either select decimal number or fixed decimal. If we say fixed decimal, it's going to come up with the currency. I'm going to select that because I want to show us how to also change currency. So I'll say fixed decimal. It has changed that to a currency. The same thing for actual price. I'm changing the data type and I change it to fixed decimal. Okay. Discount percentage. You see the icon there. It's showing that it's a text, but it's not supposed to be text. It's percentage, right? So I'm going to change this to percentage. Okay, so we have that in percentage now. The rating is showing as text. It's not supposed to be text. It's number. So I'm going to change this as decimal number because it's not a whole number. We can see decimal there. So it's decimal number. The rating bands, because this is in bands, so it's okay that it's a text. It's not numbers. They are bands because we are putting the rating bands. The rating 2, this explains the rating, poor, average, or good. So that's fine as text. Now, about the product. This data set is a very rich data set, which means we can also use it for a lot of other things. We can use it for text analytics, which is not part of what we'll be covering today. So that means there are some columns here that we don't need for the purpose of our session today. We don't need the user ID. There's nothing we're doing with that right now. This kind of in the cells, we don't need about the product. We'll need that if we're doing text analytics. We don't need the username right now. So I'm going to delete these columns that we don't need. I'll delete one first, and then I'll also delete the others. But I just want to show us how to delete it, first of all. So you always select what you want to do. We select the column and we'll delete the column. Remove columns. I clicked on home. Okay, can you see what I'm doing? I came up here, I clicked home, remove columns. Now, I've selected a particular column. Is that one that we're going to take out? If you say remove other columns, if I say remove other columns, it's going to delete every other column and leave just the one we've selected. But in this case, I just wanted to delete the column that we've selected. So it's going to delete that one. So we've seen how to delete column. Now I'm going to select more than one column and then delete the ones we don't need at the same time. Remove columns. So I've taken out 3 columns. We also do not need review title at this point. We don't need review content at this point. And we don't need the image link at this point. So I'm going to remove those ones as well. Remove columns. Okay. We're going to leave the product link because we might need it to get some of the ratings that we don't have. All right, so we are good for now. Now, let's see if there are any errors or there are any null values in our data set. Okay. We are good here. I think we're good here. Let's see, discount price. We have some 0 values, which is okay. We're good here, we're good here. Now let's look at rating. For rating, we are also good here. Okay. Let's look at the count, the number of ratings that we have. We have some blank counts, okay, and I think we are good here. Okay, now there's one more thing we need to do. If you look at the category column, it looks messy a bit because it's like you have different categories all condensed into one column. We need to separate this, okay? So how are we going to do that? We're going to split that category column, look, just like you would do it if you're using Excel. So how are we going to do this? We'll select the column we're using. I hope we're still following. So we'll come here. We will click on split columns. Okay. How do we want to split the column? We can see that we have delimiter in between the categories. So what we can do, we can split this column and use one as category and then use something else as a subcategory. So we'll come here, split column, use delimiter. For the first part of the column, what do we want to do? How do we want to split it? Do we want to say leftmost delimiter, rightmost delimiter? How do we want to do it? So in this case, we are splitting using the leftmost delimiter. And the delimiter we're using is, 1 second. Okay. We're going to use text before the delimiter. So we're going to split the column 1 second now. And it's showing me split by delimiter. Okay, custom delimiter. Yeah, this is the delimiter we're going to use. If you, I don't know the kind of your desktop Power BI, you may need to paste the delimiter there, but for me, I already have it here. So we're going to split that delimiter there. And when we split it, it's going to create for us, it's going to split it into the different categories that we want. Okay. So we have category 1, home and kitchen. We have category 2, and then we have category 3. We even have up to 4 categories, and then we have we don't need these other categories. We're going to delete them. I don't need this one. We don't need this one. And I'm also going to take this one out. Okay, and I'll take this one out. We are okay with 3 categories. So we can rename you can rename your column. I'm going to call this category. When you are naming, please ensure that you don't have space in your names. You can use underscore for your naming if you want to put something there. Like here, I'm going to say subcategory. Underscore. So I can say subcategory 1. Underscore again. Enter. And here, I'll say subcategory 2. Underscore. Enter. Okay. Are we following up to this point? Let me check the chat if there's anyone. So I'll close and apply. I'll close and apply. Don't worry, I'm going to share my screen again. Okay. So can we see now, before we did the transformation, this summation sign was not here. If we noticed that earlier before we did the transformation, now we have that. Each time you see the summation sign there, it means that is a fact. It means it's something you can either add, is a measurable element or a measurable data point that you can add subtract, you can do all of your arithmetic on them, summation, addition, subtraction, whatever you want to do on those that have those signs. For the others, they are like text. So we have our data, and I think it's transformed now. I can't see any error anywhere, which is good. We have the ratings, and then we can now start building. I'll just build a few visuals because we've done 49 minutes already. I'll build a few visuals, and then we'll take some questions, okay? Any question up to this point, or are we good? Is everyone following up to this point? Okay, good. I think we're good.
Sorry. Hi, sorry.
Yes, Obi.
Yeah, this is Merit. Sorry, please, to disturb. I wanted to find out, did you take out the rating bands?
No, the rating band is here. I still have it here.
I
Yeah,
don't know why I'm having error.
you're having errors.
Yeah, its validity is -%, and I have error of 64.
Where you have rating bands?
Yes, please.
Okay, let me see. 1 second. So I'll share that again. Let's see. Where you have rating bands, did you change it to numbers or did you change the data type?
Let me see. I don't think I.
The data type should be text. Leave it as text. So what you should see there should be this ABC icon.
Okay, it's data. That's why.
Was it?
Okay.
What do you mean
Yeah,
by
I've changed it to text. Yes, it's still 64% error.
You change it to text and it's still 64% error.
Yes, please.
Okay. Can you select and see?
I've
what's the error?
selected and I've checked the filters. I can't see anything from there.
Why it's having that error, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. But your rating 2, is that okay?
Pardon?
The rating 2, where you have the column that says the rating _2, is that one okay?
Yes, rating 2 is okay.
Jimson, you have the same error. Okay. I don't know why I'm not having that error. You know what? Let's take out that rating band, okay? We won't use it because for your sake, so you won't have errors, eh? We won't use it for the visualization. I don't know why you are having errors on your own system. I'm not sure why. If it's text, then you should be fine. You should not have errors there. So what you can do is delete it. Take out that column.
Okay.
Yeah, take that out. We won't use that for our visuals.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another error I had when I wanted to remove the currency sign.
The currency sign. How did you remove it? Did you do the replace that the way I did it?
Yeah, I copied.
Okay, so let me go over that.
Transform data. No, is it? Yeah.
Okay, you want me to do that again?
Yes, please.
Okay, let me do that again. Okay, 1 second. Okay, I'll share my screen again and do that. Okay. So if you want to take out the currency sign, what you should do, Merit, is click on like the price, right? Can you undo what you did before? If I undo,
I started all over, so I'm good now. So let me see how you did it, because I need
okay,
to
so if you
repeat
click
it.
on it, assuming I didn't have this currency sign here, you know, I would have that icon right in front of the number.
Yes.
So if you click on it at the bottom here, you'll see the number will come up here at the bottom.
Yes, copied. I've copied it.
Don't copy the entire number, just copy the
Sure.
symbol. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Now you go to replace under transform. You go to, where is it again?
Replace values.
Yeah, replace values. I can't even see it on mine.
It's close to tools. You'll see it very close. I don't know how your system is still.
Okay, I can't see it anymore. But okay, you go to replace values, okay, and you paste the icon there and leave the other part as empty.
Just
You understand?
yes, I do.
Okay.
I'm on
Okay.
it now.
Yeah, so if you can see my screen, I click to replace value. So here.
Yes, please.
Okay. So you put the currency icon up here.
Okay.
Okay. Assuming it's dollar, but I know in your case it's not dollar, but I'm just using that. Then here you leave it blank. Make sure you are selecting the column you want to replace. The value you're replacing that column, you leave it blank and then you replace values. Is that okay?
Yes, please. Let me. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm all right now. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So let's go back to what we're doing. So I'll close this and go back to when we start building the visuals. Okay, so let's start building our dashboard as much as we can cover today. So I'm sure you won't have any errors anymore, so you can follow us now. Now we have our dashboard. What's the first thing we want to do here? We have the product ID. So the first thing we want to do is we give our dashboard a heading. Every dashboard should have a heading. Don't worry, we just bring everything, put everything out there, and then we can always format it and make it look beautiful later. We might not be able to do all that today, but yeah, that's the way it should be. Don't try to start making it look beautiful from the beginning. Just get everything that you need ready, and then you can make it beautiful later. So our dashboard should have a heading, very important. So what we are doing is Amazon sales analysis. Okay. Amazon sales analysis. Let's increase the font size. Let's make this bold. And let's put this in the middle. Okay. That's the first thing. Like I always say, personally, I love a white background. A lot of people like to put colors and all that on their background, but if you want your background to be clean and professional, try to make it either white or neutral colors. I've always said that white or neutral colors. You can use gray, you can use any neutral color, but most of the time white. White looks good because your colors will pop out when you start making it look beautiful. Now I need to put something there, maybe like a shape. Yeah, what's Amazon color? Yeah, Amazon has, let's see. Sure, let's see. Okay. Now, remember what I said about the panes. For me, I can't see my format pane, so I click on it and I start working on the style. What do I want? It's blue right now. That doesn't look anything like Amazon colors. Maybe I can just pick this. Does that look anything like Amazon color? I think so. And I want that to be part of my header, and then I send it backward. Okay. Send to the back. Okay. Now my text box, I also go to the style and I don't want it to have a background, so that white part of it will not be showing. And I can see that my text box is too big or the shape is too small. One of the two. Let me reduce this a bit. 16. All right. We have our header. We can also do something else. We can make the header this shape. I can make the edges a bit curved. So it's not too boring. I want it to have rounded edges. So I want rounded rectangle. Okay. All right. So Amazon sales analysis. Now, one more thing. I think I downloaded the Amazon, what's it called? Their logo. So I may want to put that here. So if you're working in a company, you may want to include their logo there. Images, I'll bring in images for my system, bring an image from my system. Let's see, Amazon logo that I have. All right. Your logo doesn't have to be too big. It's okay. My logo. Okay, there's a little problem with my logo. I don't want to put it up there because it has a white. That's what I downloaded. It's not transparent. So, I can just put it somewhere. We'll deal with that later. Okay, I think I have another logo. Let me see if I have another one. That would be better. Okay, let's try this one. Okay. It's still the same thing. So most of the time you have PNG images. So those ones are transparent, so you can easily use those ones. So I'll just put it out here. Now let's start building. Sorry, I think I've stopped sharing. Let's start building. We'll just build some charts quickly, and then we are done for today. You can complete the others later at your free time. Okay, the first thing I want to show here, I want to show total sales. I want to show total sales. There are different ways I can show total sales. Here we have the actual price. Can you still see my screen? I'm still sharing, right? We have the actual price and we have the discounted price. So what do you think is the actual sales that we did? The actual sales is definitely going to be the discounted price because that's what we sold. It's 4.5 million. Now, this is what I was talking about that I said I will show us what to do. Here, right now, the currency is not in dollars. I want it to be in dollars. So how do we change this currency to dollars? I'll come here where you have these columns, okay? And I'll click on the column I want to change. If you are seeing my screen, you see where you have currency up here. I'm coming here and I'm going to change the currency, of course. I'm going to change the currency. Sorry, that's not what. Again, I clicked on the column, come up here, and I'm going to change the currency to dollars, US dollars. Okay, that's what I want. If there's any currency you want to change, you're free to change to pounds, you're free to change to any of the currencies that you want. So I've just changed that to US dollars. That's total sales. And what kind of visual do I want to use there? So right now we need a build pane. So we need to start selecting our visuals. What type of visual do I want to use? I want a card. I want a card visual. I think that's what is already selected. This card visual, you can format it. You can have, let's put a title on it. The title is off. I want the title on. And I'm going to say total sales. Okay, and I'm putting that in the middle. These are total sales. Another thing I'm going to do is to reduce the, for the font, I'm going to reduce the font, the size of the font size of this, what I have here. So this is one of my cards. We'll work on that later, work on the visual later and make it look better. What else do I want to show here? I want to show the total number of products that was sold. So unfortunately, in this data, we don't have the period we are looking at. So usually, it's always good to show the period you're analyzing for. Is this sales within the last 1 year? Is this sales within January to, June? It's always good to show that so that you can do your comparison and do your analysis and come up with good recommendation. And then you can also show trends as well. But we don't have that. We don't have any dates. We don't have the period. So we just work with what we have. If you have data and you have the dates, it's always good to show that, okay? So I want to show total number of products. I'm going to use the product ID. Why am I using product ID? Because in most of your data sets, the ID is unique. You can have same product name in some cases, but I think in most cases, they might not have the same product name, but it's always very good to use your ID because it's unique. So I want to see the total number of products using the product ID. And again, I'm going to use a card for this. Okay. So when you selected the card, the first thing to show you is the first product that you have there. But that's not what we want. We want the count. So I'll come here. Under summarization, you can see first. That means it's showing you the first product. That's not what we want. What do we want? We want the count. We don't just want count. We want the distinct count. Just in case you have duplicates, products with similar ID coming twice. So we don't want distinct count in this case. We want total count because we want to see the total product. Yeah. So we want the total count, not the distinct count. So let's see total count of products. Yeah. So this is the total count of products, whether it's the same ID or not, but we want to see the total products that we have sold. And again, you can edit that, take out this count of product ID underneath it because your user, you know what we talked about when you're building a visual, put your audience, make sure you understand who you're building it for and your audience. They are not technical people, so they don't understand what this count of product underscore ID is. So you want to change that and rename that to total number of products or total products sold. So we're going to rename that now. Rename for this visual. I will say total products sold. Okay. You can decide if you want it on top or at the bottom. If you want it on top, then you have to use the title option of the visual. So if we're using the title option so that it's in sync with this, we can do that here. We can also close the title option and rename this as total sales. Rename for this visual. When it says rename for this visual, it means you're only renaming it for the visual. You're not renaming the entire column name. You're renaming it for the purpose of this visual alone that you just selected. So I'm going to say total sales. Okay. Okay. So we have total sales and we have total products sold. Sorry. Okay. So we have that and we have total number of products sold. Now, what do you think is the best thing, the best column to use as our filter in this case, looking at the kind of data that we have? What would be the best column to use as a filter? So if I look at all the data points that we have here, we have category, we have subcategory 1, we have subcategory 2. What will make sense to our user or to our audience? So we're building this for the sales manager. What will make sense to the sales manager? The sales manager wants to see something, wants to filter, wants to visualize and drill into what we are building. So let's have a look at category. Category makes sense. So if we use category as a filter, that should make sense. Which means if our sales manager wants to see how much he sold under the cars and motorbikes, all he needs to do is click that. And he will see the total products sold and the total sales for each of these categories, okay? If we want more filters, we can even go on ahead and use subcategory as a filter. There's a chat, somebody's chatting. Yeah, HP, thank you. Category, yes. Category is a good filter to use. Now, there are options. You want to manage space. Remember, we don't have, this is our canvas. I forgot to mention that. This is our canvas. Our canvas is where you build your reports, where you build your dashboard. And you want to maximize your space as much as possible. And remember the rule that we always say, don't make your dashboard too busy. You don't want too many things on your dashboard. So looking at this filter, this is not, it's not efficient use of space. So I'm going to change this to the filter style. Let's see what the style should be. What should be our filter style? Our slicer settings. Come to slicer setting. Right now it's vertical. What do we want it to be? We want it to be drop down. So when we make it drop down, we are managing our space and maximizing our space so we can have more slicers. So I'm going to reduce this. Again, we need another slicer. So let's use subcategory 1 as a slicer. And I'll do the same thing, use a slicer, and we're going to make it tiled. No, I don't want tiled slicer. I'll show us one we can use. Let's see, slicer setting. Hold on. 1 second. We have this slicer here. Well, what's happening? Someone is doing something to my system.
Somebody is using the blackboard. The whiteboard, rather.
Yeah, Yinka. Yinka, you're using the whiteboard. Could you erase those, please? Let's see. Let me go to the whiteboard. Let's see if I can do that. Yinka, could you erase that if you can? If not, we're stopping soon in a few minutes and I need to maximize time. So I'll just go ahead. Okay. So for the subcategory, yeah. Okay, thank you. So for subcategory slicer, we want to, I'm going to take this out now. And I'm going to duplicate this because I want, oh my. Okay. So I'll be changing that to subcategory. And I'll take this one out. Okay. Okay. So we have 2 slicers now. We have category and we have subcategory. Again, let's rename this because our user, they will not understand what we mean by all these underscores that we have there. So we're going to change this to subcategory with that and take out the underscores and the 1. So it's subcategory. At the end of this class, I'm going to give this to us as an assignment and see who will make the most beautiful dashboard out of this. So please, after this, work on the dashboard and share your work in the group, and then everyone will all be the judge who will build the most beautiful dashboard from what we're doing. Okay, they are so big. We need to reduce the size. There's one more slicer I want to bring in. And that's the rating 2. And the kind of slicer I'm going to use the tiled format. Rating 2 will also be a slicer. Yes, it's already picking it for me. I love this format so much. So it's going to be the tiled format, which means at a glance, your user or your viewer or the audience can just select any of these to see how many of my products have average rating, good rating, or poor rating. Okay. That's for that one. So we have our filters, we have some cards, and then now we can start building 1 or 2 visuals before we finish the session. So we have these filters here. If we want to rearrange this, we can have all the filters on one side, or we can have them on top. It depends on how you want it to look like. So this can come like this. We want. I'd like to have this on top because it's easier for the user to just click and select what they want. Okay, so we have 2 filters for now. If we need to have more filters, we can do that. We are not going to use the product as filters because we have a long list of products. So let's start building. Let's see, category by sales. Let's say the category that made the highest sales. Okay, so if we select category and we select discounted price, yeah, it's suggesting that we use this as the visual, which I think is also okay. We can use this as a visual. So this is showing the categories with based on their the top categories. We can also do something. We can say another thing we want to look at. Let's look at subcategories, top subcategory 1, because we're drilling down further and further. By sales again. Well, I want to do the category of products that makes more sales for us. Okay, there's another visual. Okay, remember you have a filter. This subcategory is a lot. So if you want to just show a particular category, the subcategory for a particular category, oh, in this case, you just have one there. Let's see. Yeah, so in this case that you want to see under computer and accessories, which of my subcategories is do my customers like more? Where am I making more sales? So you can do this. Now, for what I would have loved us to do is to do what I call drill through, where you can have the products names, you have it on, you build another report, not this one. You add a new report here, and you build a table of all your product names. Okay, we'll probably do that in another session. You build a table of all your product names with the sales and probably the rating, maybe the rating bands. And then, okay, we want it to be a table because it's a lot. You have this separately. Why do we want it separately? It can't be on that summary dashboard. Why am I saying this? If we have this, for instance, and then here we show the categories and the subcategories, the audience or the user, if he wants to see some more details, all you will need to do is click on this. You will click on one and it will take the user to the next report that has the details of the products. So if you want to see, oh, under here, I have some poorly rated products. I want to see the products that are poorly rated. We can click on this and it will take to the next page. We'll do that in another session because of time. We'll click on it, it takes us to the next place to show the user poorly rated products. And because we have comments in our data set, which we are not using now, that can further enrich the recommendation we're making that, oh, these products are poorly rated and these are the comments. So those are some of the things that we can do with our data sets. We're not going to do all that tonight or today. We can have another session to build the dashboard some more and add some more features to it. I'll stop here for now. If you have any question, please go ahead and ask. Let me add one more visual here. Any question? What visual can you use for comments? Okay, great. So for comments, there are 2 things you can do. One, you can use a text box for your comments. No, you can't use word cloud for comments. Are you talking about your comments or the comments from the from your customers? If you're talking about comments from your customers, you can use word cloud because word cloud will show you the comments with the highest frequency. So you can see those comments that are talking about negative comments or positive comments. Though that you can use word cloud for if it's comments from your customers. But if it's comment from you, so Ngozi, are you talking about comment from you or comment from your customers? Word cloud will help you with from customers. So yes, you can use word cloud. you can use word cloud for that. Word cloud will show you the comments that with the highest frequency, and it will pop out those comments and to make them bold and loud so you can see those comments there. Yes, you can use word cloud for that. Please use that in your assignment dashboard as well. Any other question? One more thing before we go. Let's show the top category or top products with the highest rating count. So let's say we have product here, right? We have our product name. We have rating count. Okay, bring it here. We want to show the top 10 products that have the highest rating count, top 10 products with the highest rating count. We're going to use the filter pane here. So we have the product name, we have rating count. We want to show this top 10 by the rating count. So I'm going to add, I think my mouse is moving faster. 1 second, yeah. So we have the top 10 products. We have all the products here. We want to show top 10 products based on their rating count. So I'm going to add rating count here, okay? The rating count shows you the number of ratings, the number of people who have rated that particular product. What I want to do is to show the top 10. So I'm going to say top 10 here. By what? By rating count. Not first rating count, rating count, count of ratings. And let's change the visual to something like this. Okay. I'm going to take this off and take that filter off. Okay. Top 10 products by rating count. 1 second. Okay, it's gone off again. So let's do it again. Top 10 product, there's a question here. Can we try to remove the lines because some people will watch later? Let me try that. 1 second. I'll try to remove the lines and see. Okay. Let's see if I can erase those lines. Okay, I've taken it off. Thank you, Shola. All right. So we're looking at what? The top 10 products by rating count. Top 10 products by rating count. And I want count. Apply filter. Okay, I think is a lot of products. Let's see let's look for the right visual to use here. Top 10 products by rating count. Let's use a table first and see what it looks like. Oh, the product names, the names are so long. Let's not use products. Let's use top 10 instead of the product names. The product names, they are so long. Let's use subcategory. I think that will work better. So let's use subcategory by rating count. Yeah, subcategory by rating count. And we are looking at what? The top 10. Okay, so let's try another visual for this. 1 second. Yeah, rating count is in legend. We don't want it in legend. Yeah, that's the problem. Okay, so we have our top 10 subcategory by rating count. We can try product. What you can do in your data set, if you can try to reduce the, what's it called? reduce the name of the product, then you can use product to show top 10 products by the rating count. Okay, is there any other question? Sunday says we should try product ID. Okay, let's try that. Top 10 products using the product ID by rating count. If we have 4 visuals, that's good enough. 4 visuals is not too much. At the same time, we don't want to make our dashboard too busy. So let's try product ID by rating count. Okay, top 10 by rating count. Top 10, you can do top 10, you can do bottom, you can do top, or you can do bottom. Depends on what you want. You can do top 10, you can do top 20. Okay, rating count. Yeah, product, you are using product ID now. And let's count it. All right, let's try a visual. I always like to use this visual for top because it kind of ranks them and it just shows you at a glance like this. Okay, product ID, but you know the problem with using product ID? Remember, you're not building this dashboard for yourself. You are building it for an audience, for a user. The user might not understand what you mean by product ID. ID is for back-end guys, it's for the data guys. What they know are the product names. So ID might not be a good choice to use. It's always better to use names that are relatable, that the user can understand just at a glance. Okay, so we're going to use name here. They are very long. Like I said, you can clean the data some more and make it shorter. Here, so we can see here, we can see the names of the products. Okay, so these are top 10 products by rating count.